It is a real pleasure for me to sort of bring some remarks here to close this event out. I'm mindful, my colleague Wallace Ford always says whenever you have these opportunities, you should mark the 5 B's. Be brief, brother, be brief. So I'm going to be brief, but protocol demands that I recognize the Congresswoman Clark, that I recognize His Excellency or Ambassador Shinali, that I recognize our Consul General, Barbara Athley, that I recognize Wayne Ford, the President of UGDGN. And so having done that, I think I will just quickly sort of give a small review of what we've done this evening, just as a way of saying thanks, and then offer 2 remarks at the end. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like us to recognize the real stellar work that's been done by Dr. Rose October Eden as our Mistress of Ceremonies. And I'd like us to just recognize her with a warm round of applause. One notes that we've had a wonderful evening, and I think that that is a reflection of the fact that we had a proper blessing upon the event, and I want us to recognize the prayers that were offered for us at the start of this event, and so to recognize the prayers. Now, it is a genuine honor to be in a room with Chetty B. Jacob. I mean, my parents are at the back, and when she announced Chetty Jacob, said, "Ooh, why is he here?" I said, "No, it's his grandson." So I think we've been blessed to have you here, Attorney Jagan, and I think what you articulated about the vital importance of the diaspora and your own personal experience of going home to serve, I think is something that we will again revisit as we go through this process, and I think that you will be a really vital addition to the deliberations of the UGDGN as we attempt to formulate the way forward. And so tonight I just want to ask the audience once more to recognize the young attorney, Dr. I know that Congresswoman Clark has left us, but I think that she recognized the importance of what we're doing, and I think that President Ford can, attest to the conversations that we had in her office, and her willingness to come out to Queens, and her willingness to really stand behind the efforts that we're doing here. And so, in her absence, I just want to ask us as a community to recognize her once more. So, Congresswoman Clark. Now, these things are never good if you don't have proper food. And so I want to thank the folks who have, really prepared something delicious for us. I know Dr. Tenassi probably took more of the roti than he should have, but I understand. He's coming all the way from DC, and he probably didn't get the kind of quality that we have here in New York. So it's okay. And it's good, it tasted fine, and you're appreciative. And I wanted to reflect that our organization really appreciates the folks who prepared it. So let's also give them some applause for their work that it's all our Mistress of Ceremonies noted that as regards to her saxophonist, that she was a young woman. And I thought that was important because my mother, when she came in, she said, "Was that a woman?" And I said, yes, that was a young woman. And so let us recognize the sweet, melodious song of the young saxophonist that actually take place. Yeah, if you permit me just a few more minutes, I think these are important things to recognize. When Wayne Ford called me about being involved in kind of helping to move this, as he was trying to articulate his why, it was sort of very clear to me why he wanted to do it. He genuinely felt a connection to Guyana, and I know he articulated that all of his brothers are here, and his mother is here, and he does not have any family, and it's all abstract. But, you know, I might remind him that if he was born in Guyana, then, you know, they remind me that if your navel string is buried somewhere there, then you probably, that is why you're doing it. And so I want to recognize you for the efforts that you've really taken on this challenge. And I think that, you know, the vision is really an important one, and I think we here applaud that vision. And I want you to join me in applauding President Ford in this vision that he has. And part of that vision, and it was very central at the very, in our early conversations, had to do with thinking about ways. So, look, my young daughter sits at the table, she's never been to Guyana. You know, every time she comes, she thinks, am I going to something Guyanese? And so, you know, we collectively in this room have to find ways to connect our children to Guyana. I think it's vitally important that we do that. And, you know, I meet with a number of people who think about these things, and I think Wayne has really prioritized that as something that we do here with UGDGN. So we're thinking about young men and women of Guyanese descent who were born here in the United States who have tremendous talents, and to try to figure out how do we connect them to Guyana. And in this regard, I think we made a really good choice on Ms. Bianca Ford as our guest speaker. And as she reminded us, yes, you know, we've long sort of lived on God and family and education, and it served us well. And I wanted to thank you for reminding us of the people who came 35 years ago and the young woman who was born in the hospital, someplace here. So, yeah. Our keynote from Ambassador Snelly is really important, and it kind of outlined for us what I think are the central challenges. I mean, and Ambassador Snelly is right. His government, our government, has done a tremendous amount of work, and we are no longer number 2 on the most corrupt list. And we should acknowledge and be deeply appreciative of that we are, and it's clear that we have made progress. I think this is something for us as Guyanese, and I think this is something that Wayne has really talked about. But yeah, we should acknowledge the places where we've not done well, but we should also acknowledge and amplify those places where we have done well, and amplify our capacity to do well. The fact that we're in this room reflects our capacity to do well. And so I think the ambassador was really kind of amplifying for us and kind of really setting us in the right place. We can do well, we have done well. Yes, we have these challenges, but these challenges are challenges that can be overcome. And I think part of what he's really saying to us is that these challenges will be overcome if we engage. And we, in a very large sense, it can't be done only by the people who live in Guyana, and it can't be done only by the people who live in the United States, and it can't be done only by the people who live in Toronto or the people who live in London, but collectively, we can meet these challenges, and as the ambassador rightly indicates, I think these challenges are going to be really, really critical in the next. We are at, as he said, a moment of transition. You know, he mentioned the barrels for oil type things, and you know, I quickly sort of Googled to see what that would look like, and so what that looks like is an influx of about $350 million in this kind of early phase. And you know, there are two things happen, and you know, I spend a lot of time studying, and I know something about what happens. And one can go around the world and one can find that there are two things that are really critical. One, you have fairly strong, competent leadership, and two, you have proper institutions, things that can hold up over time. You know, that's the challenge for us. We have to cultivate the appropriate kinds of leadership that is necessary for this moment of transition that our ambassadors identified. And we have to strengthen the institutions that we have. We have to strengthen organizations, the kinds of things that we're doing right now. And we have to, as Bianca points out, kind of connect, network, networks of lawyers to cases in Guyana, connect networks of engineers, connect networks of folks in all domains to the challenges that are there. And I think that that's the challenge for us, and I think the ambassador has really sort of laid it out there for us. And perhaps I've gone longer than, maybe I'm on my fourth B, right? So I said be brief, rather be brief. So I think I've gone way beyond brief. But maybe two more words, well actually three. Time to party. Thank you.